Everybody, dun, 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 dun. Thanks, Kay. Everybody give me a thumbs up. Let's see. Colorado with 8 inches of snow. Yeah, it's like 10 degrees here this morning. Freaking cold. Brr. I'm ready for summer already. All right, we got Ivan and Donald and Svenborn and Gaten and David and Dan and John, Mark, Diane, Arturo, Sergio, Mad Will, General Rush. Good to see you, sir. Be like water. Frank, Don, Rob, Ted, Darren, Gary, Amy, Ryan, Jason. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for coming. Thanks for hanging out. We have a $2.7 trillion OPEX today. Holy bananas. What does that mean? That's notional value of the options that have been opened. If you take all those options, you roll them out into the value of stock that they control, it's $2.7 trillion. Yeah. Celsius, and now, like, that was the other thing I was going to talk about too. Like, Andrew, Celsius, yeah, announcing they're going to buy out Alani, and for $1.8 billion. They're going to be the number 3 player in the market. Let's see. I got my drink of choice, but Monster over here. But let's take a look at that too. So lots of developing information this morning. Oh, I closed my cool. I had to close all the browser windows right before I started, and guess what? All the stuff I had open was on the browser windows. Duh. I was like, where did it all go? Anyway, it was using 99% of the RAM, and I was like, start the video. It was like, no. I was like, cool. Let's close all the browsers. And of course, side effect of that, wasn't really thinking that all the stuff I had up was now gone. All right. Yeah, here we go. Pop up this one, pull this over, check this out. Right there. Celsius now becomes the number 3. We've got Red Bull, number 1. We've got Monster, number 2. And now we got Celsius at number 3. Yeah, buying out Alani right there below them. That's interesting, I think. I think it's interesting. I don't know. You can let me know what you think. And see, I already had a position on CELH. Hunting for that measured bounce bottom. Look at that. It's going to be a beautiful freaking trade. It's kind of funny how this works, right? Like, here's the target. I bought those shares back down here. That was my stop out limit, 20. This is one of those big reward, small risk trades right there. If you didn't get in with me back at 25, now you're late. Wait for the confirmation above the roadmap line, but looks like we're going 200. This is a 10xer right here, potential. Love it. Maybe even more if we get up. We got 377. Love it, love it, love it. Anyway. Let me know in the chat if you're in there with me. Yeah. Let's go. I like it. This is like, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. This is just, plunk down a chunk of money. Maybe we get lucky. Sometimes we do. Sometimes we do. I didn't know they were going to buy Alani. I didn't know, any of this stuff. It's already up. Gosh. 40% off the lows. Love it, man. Love it. 70% off the lows. I think I bought right here somewhere. So, yeah, about 40% for me, roughly. Hey, we're just getting started, too, Sergio. Hey, watch out, baby. This one can go. I like the log mode a lot better. it did push the limits. We got really freaking close. Then it turn and burn, baby. Turn and burn. Like it, like it. I've been watching this new data feed I got, and it's dark pool trades where they trade really big, and there's some interesting things going on. Interesting things, like there were like almost $3 million of puts traded yesterday on TLT. $3 million of puts. It wasn't quite 3. It was like 2.8 or something like that. Is it going to go down? I don't know. Is it worth putting your money at risk? I mean, I already had this out here a while. Are they, and so there seems to be some, a lot of people have tried to follow order flow and large trades and sweeps and stuff like that in the past. And my new tool tells me if they were at the bid, below the bid, at the ask, or above the ask. That's 4 different places you can trade. If you're below the bid, let's just rewind a second, all right? Our goal in the market, right? Buy low, sell high, right? I mean, that's the goal. That's how you make money, right? Buy low, sell high. Anybody want to argue with me? I mean, you can sell, it doesn't matter if you're selling premium, you sell high, you buy low. Income trades, sell high, buy low. You're still buying low, selling high. That's how you make money in the market. That's the most basic way you make money in the market. Buy low, sell high. Now, if a transaction occurs, the bid is the low, the ask is the high. Now, if a transaction occurs above the ask, that's higher than high. That means somebody was aggressively buying and got fills above the market. They really want it in, and they really think that they're buying low. It's a buy when it transacts above the ask. You don't sell something, like the market just doesn't sell things high. All right? It just doesn't work that way. So when you're buying and it transacts above, a transaction above the ask is a buy, more than likely. It's very, very rarely, 1% of times that it would be a sell above the ask. Now, same thing, flip it over, transacting at the bid, buy low, sell high, but, you're probably not going to get filled at the bid if you're buying. You're probably going to get filled at the bid if you're selling. And if you get filled below the bid, you're really selling. You're aggressively selling. So that's something to keep in mind when you're watching the sweeps. Most of the sweep data you see doesn't really give you a feel for where the transaction occurred. I have a new feed that I've been watching that tries to put it all together, what the transaction price was versus what the bid and ask was, and gives me the data. And then it aggregates these really, really big ones. I've been watching for 7-figure trades on stuff that's not the Mag 7. A 7-figure trade on a Mag 7 stock like Tesla, Meta, Google, Microsoft, Apple, Amazon, those just don't have the same hit, like, to me. Like, okay, somebody traded $1 million of calls on Apple, big freaking whoop. But somebody traded $3 million on TLT, that got my attention a little bit. I saw a large trade on this one. Somebody bought 110 calls out to July. Right there. 110 strike calls. And while the price is down here, what do you think is going to happen? Somebody thinks it's going up. Millions of calls. Millions of dollars of calls. And this is I'm talking about not notional value, like not unwinding them to the share value. I'm talking about the actual retail price of those calls. And that was on TLT. That was like $2 million of premium they spent. Somebody spent $2 million buying puts. They're probably worth way more than that. You take those puts and unwind them to the actual notional value. We're probably talking a lot of money. So this is kind of interesting. I've been playing with this recently, trying to build more trying to build a tool that can sort through, because there were like, I sorted through almost 200 trades yesterday just to find like 3 or 4 that I was interested in. And somebody knows something when you see something like that. That's, that's kind of, at least that's the feel I get out of it, right? Is that somebody knows something. And I'm kind of try to start playing with this a little bit. Yeah, sorry, I said 2.8. It was 2.6 million in premium on TLT. And I can pull that over and show it to you right here. See, it was TLT. They bought puts. It was above the ask on the puts. So that means they were buying 2.6 million in premium. They bought almost 2,900 of them. Almost 2,900 of them. And the volume on it. So they basically doubled the volume on those puts. And that was the expiration in July right there. Makes you wonder, right? Makes you wonder. Makes me sit there going, that's interesting. Another really, really, really big one that I saw yesterday was on this one. We talked about this stock yesterday morning. How we potentially were getting up here. Sitting right under the market roadmap bounce. That could project that way on up here, right? So I saw $1.8 million of June calls purchased. And this is, somebody spent $1.8 million to buy these calls above the ask yesterday. They bought the 90 strike, which is just right where we are for June. Right out here. So that's pretty cool, right? So I'm working on a new tool that can find these automatically. And yeah, Lance's thing is too much. Like it's not. I've looked at Lance's and it's bullcrap. I got a new feed that I'm looking for the monsters. So Lance's doesn't really give me the information I need. So found something new. Found something different. Different data source too. I know where Lance gets his data, and I've got a different source. So actually pulls dark pool information, not just live trades. There's a leeway. They don't have to report these trades immediately. I found out. When you trade giant trades, they don't have to report them to the market immediately. So different rules for different people. Got a bunch of money, you get to play by different rules. And there's also a shares tool, and those can be delayed by 24 hours. They don't have to report them for 24 hours after they occur. So I've been comparing with the shares trades too. When you see like $500 million of some shares being traded, plus a few $1 million in options. So I've been combining these things. So it's a new data source I found. It's kind of neat. I'm not, not trying to tease it out too much, but it's kind of interesting. You combine it, like what I'm doing though, is combining it with trades I'm already kind of watching. Right here. We're already looking for this, right? We were already watching this one. I saw a giant trade come through yesterday. Maybe I should take an entry. And then another one. This one right here. I was already watching this. Like, already drew the, like, this was already the chart I had. Right? Already had this chart. Already had that low. I saw, this was like 2 days back. I saw somebody buy a big chunk of these. Guess what? I already had this target. Now, they only went out to July, I think it was. I'm going to be in this a little while, I think. I grabbed some July options. Looking for this baby to rock and roll. Rock and roll. Anyway, so I'm combining technical analysis that I've already been watching for a bottom, along with these big monster orders in the 7-figure option orders floating through. might be onto something to make more money. Anyway, let's check out what everything else is doing. All trading involves a substantial risk of loss. Past performance, not necessarily indicative of future results. Just because I get lucky sometimes doesn't mean I'll ever get lucky again. You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Knock on wood, I tend to get lucky more often than not. This presentation, the whole thing is to risk small amounts of money to potentially make big amounts of money. I'm out there hunting elephants. The squirrels are great. Lots of people are like, oh, it's all about the base hits. Yeah, it's about the base hits. But if you can knock home a few monsters here and there, basically one of the first trades I ever did turned $500 into $26,000. That's just kind of the way I'm wired. All right. But I may never get it right again. This presentation is intended to be informational, educational, fun, entertaining, not a recommendation to be buying or selling any financial instrument. If you desire that personal financial advice, somebody to tell you what the fudge to do, you got to hire and consult a financial advisor. It's not what I'm doing. I'm just a guy that gets lucky, and you come along for the ride, maybe you get lucky too. But we could lose all our money. That would suck, but it could happen. All right. Just a guy that gets lucky sometimes. Sometimes. All right. Here we are on Friday. We do have these news items coming up here in just a few moments. Well, like 12 minutes. Flash manufacturing, flash services, existing home sales at the top of the hour. Could cause a little bit of volatility. So the home supply, I did bring another chunk of numbers here. Let me grab this out of of course, I closed all my tabs, right? Genius. Where did that go? There it is, right? I saw it. I flashed it. There we go. Here we go. This one right here. This right here, look. We are at 9 months of housing supply. And we're about to get a new number. 9 months. Down here in COVID, we were 3 months. Now we're at 9 months and climbing. We kind of, in 2022, when we were at the height of the market sucking, we were at 9.77 months. Back here, during the 2008 great financial crisis, we got up to 11.5 months. Dot-com bust, it wasn't really housing wasn't really in play. But look at these recessions over here. Recession. That was a recession. I don't care what they freaking call it. We've basically been in a recession since then, too. I don't think we've fixed it. All right. This right here may be repeating this one over here. If you take out government spending, that's been the only thing keeping the GDP above board, positive. Take out government spending, which we're cutting the crap out of right now. We've been negative on growth since 22. Writing's on the wall, everybody. Something's up. All right. So next week, made it through another holiday week. Luckily, we don't have another holiday coming up till like April, I think. So Monday, nothing. Tuesday, get some consumer confidence. Probably get Trump speaking in here a few dozen times. New home sales on Wednesday. Thursday, GDP, unemployment claims, core durable goods, blah, 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 blah. Friday, we get PCE. Right here, this should be fun. That's Powell's favorite inflation measure. So not a ton next week. We do have NVIDIA earnings. Let's see, where'd I put that? Check this out. Here's the earnings next week. We got NVIDIA, Lowe's, Kava, Home Depot, Domino's. Got some fun ones next week. So should be interesting. So NVIDIA earnings, obviously, sky high expectations. So we'll see what goes down here. We've got, I guess, Mardi Gras coming up right in here. And Fat Tuesday, all that stuff. We're already into, like, next week's the last week of February. And then we're into March. So then we'll wrap up the quarter, and then we get earnings again. So crazy. Like, this year's already burning through. I mean, almost a third of the way done. Craziness. Absolute craziness. All right. So on to the charts, right? How do we make money today? JT, what do we got cooking? Well, S&P was up slightly. Now we're rolling a little bit. Option expiration, and we already had, roll back to the OPEX. It seems like I've been all over the place today. There's a lot of stuff happening, even though it's like watching the market's kind of like watching paint dry, but we got a lot of stuff happening. So here's the OPEX. We had $1.2 trillion of S&P 500 come off this morning already, right at the market open. Poof, that one's gone. So now we have the rest. We have chunk of SPX evening and a chunk of SPY, non-SPY ETFs that are also part of the index, like VU and all those other ones. And then you've got single stock for about $600 billion. This might free up the market to move a little bit. We might see the market free up a little bit to see this next week. But then we pile it back in. Everybody piles back in. So we've have this possibly freeze it up for another drop. We didn't actually test it yesterday. We got darn close, but we didn't actually, we tagged that little target from 2 days back and then rally back higher. I'd really like to see this. Personally, what I really want to see out of this price action right here, that high, that low, and we came up and we stopped at the 618 right there. Funny enough, I want to see us get above that and set up the expansion so we can get the continuation, so we can hit our upside targets, resolve this, and then get a big regular correction. I don't really want a correction, but that's what we need in the market. So otherwise, we're just going to keep chopping. We're just going to keep doing this bull crap right here for the next forever till we can knock it off dead center here. Maybe we chop through NVIDIA earnings. Maybe can NVIDIA hit their sky high expectations? You tell me. You tell me. Looking at NASDAQ, we have not pushed new highs yet. Right here. I want to see a new high. We haven't been to a new high on NASDAQ since December. Just been chopping underneath the high. And we've been chopping above the July high. We've been testing into it a few times. We've really been going nowhere on the market since July. So, golly, early July too. So August, September, October, November, December, January, February, almost into March. That's almost 8 months. Because it feels like the market's been chopping you up. We have 8 months of this bullshit. Yeah, just start moving. Probably going to get a pullback into March based on seasonality. I'm just warning you. If we get a little pop, we'll probably pull back into March. Mid-March, we usually establish the bottom and then start going higher seasonal-wise. If you've not seen my seasonality stuff, let me pull that up really quickly for you. I'm on the wrong channel. Brilliant.org. Let's see. Where did that go? Right there. Seasonality wise, NASDAQ 100, we usually pull back into early March, mid-March, and then start the year. So chop for the first 2.5 months is usually what we see on NASDAQ. Guess what we got? Chop for the first 2.5 months. Then we can get going. I don't know about you. I kind of hope that's the way it works. So we might see this push nominally higher. Might see a pullback on NVIDIA earnings. I don't know. NVIDIA coming up next week. Sitting at that resistance. Might be time. That is not getting through the resistance. If that hangs out there through next week, probably a negative reaction. Ooh. I haven't actually looked at that in a few days. Might need to bail on my... I had a few shares of NVDU. Might be time to give that up with a small... I think I'm down like 1%. Might be time to give that up. This is looking like we might go down. Ways to play, NVDS. If you think it's going to roll, there's a 1.5 leverage. That'll go up when NVIDIA goes down. If you think NVIDIA is going to the moon, keep in mind this number right here. NVIDIA is worth $3.4 trillion at the current price. And for that to double, it would take $3.4 trillion more dollars. Look at that. Gold has climbed up to $19.5 trillion. Holy moly. Gold keeps rocking and rolling. Bitcoin. Bitcoin's hanging out right at 10% of gold. Bitcoin's got a little bit of upside room there to climb to get to that 1.95 trillion. Look at that. All market assets, $156 trillion. Wild numbers. Alrighty, Russell. Here's the supports, right at the roadmap line. Here's the resistance, right at the 618 retrace of this initial drop from back here in November through the bottom here in January. That 618 is the resistance. We've been unable to get through there so far this year. We may pop up in there and roll down here. That's what I think is going to happen. Oil pulling. Wow, look at that. Lower high. I was thinking we were going to pop through, but nope. We're going back down here. Going back down for another test, it looks like. Oil not providing any clarity. Probably just going to keep doing this on oil. Probably just going to keep doing that for the near term. Here is the resistance, obviously. Here is support. This downtrend highs. And we're just going to keep farting around in between. Brilliant. Gold not going anywhere. Just chopping. Here's the range. If we break out the top, we could go on higher, maybe to 3,000. If we break out the bottom, watch out for the roadmap line. Bitcoin. Break out of this freaking range. Come on. Break out of the range, please. For the love of my sanity. Yesterday, pushing the top of the range there. Today, out of the top. Can we get out of this? We actually, if you go back to the actual top of where we've been shopping, right there, the actual lows where we've been shopping, all the way down here. So really, the range is more like this. I was going off the candle bodies, but if we can get out of this range, maybe it's an indication that we're actually going to take the market higher. Bitcoin is the ultimate risk-on, risk-off asset out there. When the market feels like things are risk-on, this thing moves in a leveraged way. We go rocking and rolling higher. When the market is risk-off, we go down. I don't even know how I grab that. Can't grab things if I want them. We go down. So the market goes up when we're risk on. It goes down when we're risk off. And when there's indecision, Bitcoin does something like this where it just sits in a very tight range for 2 weeks. Now, look back last year, this exact time. February last year. Zoomer up, buttercup, right there. We did this to the week, pretty much. Look, right here. Today's the 20th. No, today's 21st. Right there. We were in the same consolidation, a little tight range in Bitcoin. Now, this one we came up into this, and this year we came down into this consolidation. We started this consolidation earlier this year, but same freaking week. Does that mean next week we get a move? Be prepared. Boy Scout motto, be prepared for what might come. If it does the same pattern, we get continuation. We came down into this consolidation this year, and we may get consolidation, continuation down. So be cognizant of the environment we're in. So we came down into this sideways consolidation. Do we get continuation down, or is it going to be like last year? We launched the freak off. Now, the other thing coming up here on the 26th is Mara earnings. Interesting to note, to me, can we get these earnings right here? Interesting, they hold almost $14 worth of Bitcoin per share. So they're only like $2 a premium. $2 of value above their Bitcoin holdings per share. It's not exactly like Bitcoin's price moves around, and it's like I'm just kind of rounding off about $13, $14 a share in Bitcoin value right here with the Bitcoin they hold. So they're only like $2 to $3 of what you might say extrinsic value. Opportunity. But that chart looks freaking horrible, so I don't know. That's an opportunity to bounce for sure. It reminds me of the Merck chart, right? Like down here. Reminds me of Celsius too. Pushing the limit. Pushing JT's limit. See what happens. Ethereum not really being committal at all. NKD, sideways chop. More of that. That's global liquidity. For those of you who may have seen the Chinese money supply, let me pull that up really quickly. Talk about this briefly. Lots of people posting this chart on the line. CNN1, look at that giant pop. They changed the way they do money supply calculation in China. Now, when things are going rosy, think about this, the numbers are all made up. I commonly see that, right? When things are going rosy, you don't suddenly decide to change the way your money supply works. So something's up in China. We've got to make a drastic supply, change to our numbers. So that was the undoing of, arguably the undoing of USSR in the 80s. The Cold War era, end of the Cold War. They lied about their production numbers. And to the point where they started believing their own numbers. They just make it up their economic growth numbers, blah, blah, blah. It's the undoing of empires. When you start lying and manipulating your numbers to make everything look good, your population believes it, and then it leads to your own undoing. So, just a cautionary tale. Seen it play out. Empires have ended. One of those things. That's why you gotta kind of be, a long-term student of economic history if you want to do this. So, undoing of empires. One of the key things they lied about is their fertilizer output, like their production of fertilizer. They just straight up lied about, they did all their farming expansion stuff based on their inflated fertilizer production numbers, and they didn't have it, and they couldn't grow the food, and it led to big problems. Interesting, right? Welcome to the history lesson. All right. Dollar, look at that. Sometimes I get it right. Sometimes I get it right. Let's go check a couple other things here. Look at that. Almost there. Oh, gotta turn off my dollar CAD. Probably gonna do a roadmap bounce. Let's see. Euro USD. That one's not really moving much. Looks like it may come up to the roadmap line. And, oops. And check in on the pound. Yep, that one's already at the roadmap line. 3-wave move. Watch for. So looks like we're going to get a little boom action in the dollar based on. I mean, we may push the dollar a little lower, but we may get a little bit of upside on dollar index based on these charts. If we bounce off this roadmap line, may see that before we do that. All right, I go pull all the movers, everything moving $2 or more up in the pre-market, put it on the gainers list. Everything moving $2 or more down in the pre-market, put it on the decliners list. And we go hunting for stuff, right? Opportunities. So we've got this one right here at the target. Watch for a retrace. That was a pretty nice one. If anybody took that, good on you. Good on you. I don't have the resources to play something worth $2,000. I put my money in other places. So ONC, there's another one right up to the target. Hitting the target today. Watch for our pullback. Coin. Oh, looky what we did. We touched. Oh, baby. Looky there. Now, it's not confirmation until we break above the 618. It missed back here. That's a higher touch. And that is a touch, but it is higher. That high, that low. Sets us up for 319 if we get above that 618 level at 285. Big if. There's the resistance. There's the continuation. Ooh. It would have been even better if this had tagged in that box. So there may be one more dip in here before we pop. I like it. I'm long Connell. I've been long Connell since back here. And yeah, I'm at no money, no gain, no loss, just sitting. I like the opportunity though. The opportunity is up to like this area. Now I do warn that leverage products don't always follow patterns. This may come up shy and only get back to the prior highs, but look at that. That's a nice potential. 100% gain. No theta decay. Not bad. I've been sitting in this since back here. You know how much theta decay I've lost? 0. With a 2x leverage potential on coin. Not bad. FND, Floor and Decor. one of my scouts. Anytime he's off of school, he works for Floor and Decor. Resistance there, downtrend of highs, uptrend of lows. We're in a watermelon seed squeeze. And Not my favorite pattern. Could it break out? It could. Expect it just to keep doing this. That's a lower high coming across. This may break down. So be careful here. We may flush this one down here. Axon. So government spending, we're going to reduce government spending. Oh my gosh. Axon comes back to the roadmap line. If it can find a bottom here. It's a big if. I think that was the low. I catch it. Oop, missed it just slightly. If that can bounce, get back above the 618 there at 630. We could go on up to 750. FNGU. Chopping. Target's still 720 on that one. And Celsius, look at that. Right to the resistance. We need to get through. I'm not changing a darn thing. I'm just going to keep holding my shares. This may do a retrace. So, very natural and expected. Come back down. Retest the 618s before we pop through. Then come back, retest the roadmap line before we go higher. That would be expected. PTIR. Chopping around. Be careful. Reduction in government spending. Oh, I brought another chart. A couple people wanted to see this. Here's all the insider sales for the last year. January 24. Current. Sell, sell, sell. There's no buys. There's no buys in here. That's all insider selling. I mean, if you think your stock's going to the moon, why would you sell all your shares? It's just a red flag to me. That's like $3.1 billion worth of shares they've sold in the last year. You know how many buys there's been from insiders? Zero. FIVN, 5.9. Ooh, pop, but dropped right back down. First move up, retrace. Next move up, we got resistance right up at that gap. Maybe a little pop up there. I'd watch out for 60. FUTU. Upside's 144. Getting a little chop here at the top. SCI. Ooh. Solaris Energy. Looks like we're going to pop on up to 38, possibly 41. SMCX. Be careful chasing SMCI. That's in that zone where we might top. Be very, very careful. That's a 3-wave move. Continuation will be lower. The target is down here in the low 2 digits. Baba just keeps rocking and rolling. If this is going on up, we might hit that target at 180 to 200. MSTR. Be careful here. It has the continuation pattern to go lower. We're holding a higher low, which could take it higher. This is a bit of a coin flip, is what this boils down to. We could coin flip it up to the target on the upside, or we could slam it down here before we do that bounce. So I don't know which way it's. I don't have a strong feeling either way. Holding higher lows, so slightly, just current. As long as we hold that higher low, probably going up. If we start breaking it, watch out. This setup is for moving lower, so it's stacked. And it's like, I'm always talking about, like, look at your bullish cases, look at your bearish cases. This one's kind of like tied. Like, that makes it a coin flip. I don't have a strong feeling. It's like 50-50 at this point. Like, which way would I go? 50-50. I am long MSTR. I am long MSTX. But I don't have a strong feeling for it going either way. I'm not selling, not buying, not adding, just holding. It's that much 50-50 for me. I'll probably sell if we start breaking down I'll sell the MSTX. I don't know. I'm not going to sell the MSTR because I have a cost basis down here. A lot of profit to go on that one. CYD. Dang. Watch out for that to come back down. That's the bubble pattern. Never seen it before right there. Watch out. These things have a habit of taking it right back down to where they came breaking out from. GRAL. That one might do a retrace. Roadmap line's way the frick down here. Not enough candle data to really do much trend analysis on. I'm a trend pullback continuation trader, so when you don't have much data, there's not much trend to evaluate. CLS looks like it wants to come back to the roadmap line. Be careful. INOD has been rocking and rolling. Next target up 79, but watch for a retrace to the roadmap line. We haven't been down there since September. Might be due. Now, flip side of that, we did this consolidation. We did an expansion. We did this consolidation. Guess what? Could do another expansion. Could take us on up to 115. It's just echoing the pattern. Pull back, continuation, continuation. That's what that looks like. We did another one. Right, there's another one. Man. So that's 3 in a row. 1, 2, 3. Z-Lab. Ooh, that's a nice one. Pull back. Upside target, 39.41. And that's where we got into this chop too. So be careful as we get into that area. May not give you much continuation. Connell, already talked about. BOBX. 2x leverage on Baba. If Baba's going up to 180, this thing's going rocking and rolling, baby. Probably up here to 100. PDD. Oh, if we can close above this today. Setting it up for that move to 180, 175, 180. Boil. Nice. Ultra. Let's check in on natural gas. Well, we might get the extension on up here to 460, 480. That's what that's looking like. I was not betting on that, but it was always possible after we did that bounce right there. I was looking for it to hold right there. We busted through. Sets the high probability right there. Then watch out for a retrace to the roadmap line. And potentially a breakthrough. WRD. We ride. Looks like that's coming back down. Be careful. Not enough data. No roadmap line. No trend. No nothing. Baidu. Potential to come on up to 102, 103. SMCL. That's that. Be careful on SMCI. I'm just gonna say that. CWeb. Target's up here. I am long CWeb. Looking for that target. Might get off at 60. Might ride to 66. Not sure yet. I have shares. So that's 2x leverage on shares. Be careful on leverage. MLGO. Micro algo is a dumpster fire. Many times over. You can get short that probably and make money. ARGT. Watch for that to come back down. It's Argentina ETF. I would watch for that to retrace the roadmap line. C Limited. Watch for that to come back. Got the big picture 618 zone right here. I would be kind of surprised if we just go ripping through without retracing to the roadmap line at the minimum. I'm surprised before, but surprised again. I'm not trading that one. PLTR, I warned about. We were due a pullback. This little baby pullback is not nearly big enough yet. I don't believe we're done. Now, we could be done, but I don't believe we're done. I wouldn't bet on this being finished yet. So far, we did almost the same size pullback we did back here in January. December to January. Almost. We're just slightly smaller. But if that's just we need to move down to the roadmap line. That's what we need. And that could set up a bigger run on PLTR. This thing is way overcooked on the price to sales too. So that's, you know, giant red flag. We've pulled it back down to 98, but that's still ridiculous numbers. Anything over this number right here, price to sales, over 20 is a ridiculous number. And when I said 100, that's 100 years, 98.87 years of it, all of its sales at the current rate. All of its sales going to the share price just to justify the current share price. 100 years. I'm not even sure PLTR will be around in 100 years. Yen, probably going for the breakout. That's a 3x leverage. Be careful. Hood. Yeah. I sold out of this a few days back. Probably going to retrace back to the roadmap line. Watch out. PLTU. It's 2x leverage on PLTR. Watch out. If PLTR takes a bath, this is going to take a bath. All right. Decliners. Things going down. 2 more. Oh, man. Look at that. Sometimes I get lucky. I didn't trade that, but got a little more downside we could potentially do. I'd be dang, man. I don't even know. Like, that looks like it's in the right place though. Breaking back above 549, 630, 700 on the upside. That's one to keep an eye on right there. I'll keep an eye out for some big options orders. I know people are going to be playing that one. Humana. Potential to go lower. That's not looking very bullish there. Elevance. Looks like we're going on down. I would bet lower there. So can UNH go higher if Humana and Elevon and, oh man, Cigna's on here too? That looks bearish to me. GKOS, back to the roadmap line. If we can hold. Next expansion. Ooh, watermelon talking to me. Excuse me. Looks like 168, 173. Akamai. Ooh. Must not have had good news on the cloud front there. That can get a bigger down right here. Talking about something down in here. What does risk on, risk off mean? So if you think the market's going to sell off, you take your risk off the table. That's risk off. If you think the market's going to rally, put your risk on. That's what risk on, risk off means. Block. Oh, look at that. I'll be darned. I'll be hornswoggled right to the target. So can it hold here, or are we going down to 53? So far, that's pushing extremes. This would be the level I would watch. If we get below that, probably going to do that level. So if we get through like 66, we're probably coming on down. Sprouts Farmers Market. Well, I think I warned about that one coming back to the roadmap line. So we're going to do it pretty quickly. HCA. It looks like that's bearish so far. Now that could be a bullish reversal, but yeah, watch out for that zone. That's got a gap fill all the way up to there. If we rally up, 3-wave move. 1, 2. Oh, dang. That's too perfect. So we may go right here and then continuation lower. That would be what I expect on HCA. CVS. Right up to the resistance and turning down. Watch for the roadmap line. Rubric. Probably going to come back to the roadmap line. Blue. Bluebird Bio going lower. Biotech, be careful. DBX coming back down. At the roadmap line, can we bounce? Do we find support? Bounce up, get the 34.35, or are we coming down in here? Not sure. CNC, probably going for the target. IHF, sideways chop. Just in a sideways choppy mess right there. Don't expect anything out of that. And Yang plummeting into the abyss. That high, or that low, that high. Yeah, 33, possibly 22. Hunting for the next reverse split. Be careful. There were no awesome bonus setups today, so be careful out there. Be careful. Bias for the day. Looks like we're getting some chop. We're going to get chopped up a bit today on this OPEX. So Bitcoin was green coming into the open. We might get like we did yesterday where we bottom out and get a reversal, but I don't know. Really feels like we're hunting that touch right there. Really seems like we're hunting that back test right there. Actually, I'm going to send an alert right there. We go hit that, watch for the bounce. If we get a close below that today, we're going down in a blaze of glory. So yeah, we could be hunting. We could be hunting something down in the 585 area on SPY if we start breaking down. That's what we need to hold. If we don't, probably coming down here. Be careful out there today, everybody. All right, we'll see you again on Monday. Same bat time, same bat channel, 9:15. We'll do it all over again. Look for stuff moving. Look for opportunities. Talk about what the news. See what's popping, what's dropping. Thanks for coming. Thanks for being subscribers. Thanks for being channel members. I appreciate it. If there's anything I can do for you, please don't be afraid to give me some feedback. I thank you all for being here. Thank you for following me. Thanks for hanging out with me. See you again on Monday. Bye for now.